If you are looking for the perfect budget, travel, compact, pocket-sized point-and-shoot camera that is beginner-friendly or even perfect for professionals who just want to be more creative during their day-to-day activities, then keep watching this video because I have the best recommendation for you. I am going to be sharing my absolutely favorite point-and-shoot that works for traveling, for just normal everyday photography. It's something that you can easily bring with you. It's great for a wide range of photography. Specifically, I use it for things like landscape, nature, really just if I feel inspired, I just pick up this camera and I shoot with it. It also works for more of a film vibe, like it kind of gives a shaky, grainier image if you're using it for something like portrait photography, taking pictures of people. But all around, I think it's just a great camera, and it all cost less than $60 with the camera, the charger, and the batteries and the adapter to plug it into your laptop. So let's get into the video. So before anyone questions how I could possibly know that this is the best point and shoot and this is the best budget travel camera, let me quickly go over my addiction to all types of cameras. Right in front of me, I have 4 point and shoots that I'll go over. So I started off with the Polaroid A800, shot with that for a little bit. I got the Kodak EasyShare from a family member. I recently found a Canon PowerShot S95 in my mom's closet. So I'm excited to start shooting with this a little bit more, but it's more of a nicer camera and it's a little bulkier, so not my favorite. I'll show you my final point and shoot in a second because this one's my favorite one. I also have a Kodak Instamatic, Pocket Instamatic 20. I have Sony Handycam. In this big camera bag, I have my Nikon D3300 that I usually shoot with. And then somewhere in my room, I have my old big clunky camcorder from the 1990s. It's a GE 8mm. So I have had my fair share of experiences with cameras, which is why I can safely assure you that the Canon PowerShot SD 1100 IS is absolutely, hands down, the best point and shoot camera that's compact and it's great for travel and it's budget friendly because you can find it for under $60 on eBay. Now, one of the things I love about this camera is that I can just take it out, point it at something, and shoot it without having to worry about the ISO, aperture, shutter speed. And while usually, since I am a photographer, I do like to have control over that and I do like to shoot in manual, it's nice to just be able to pull this out and take a picture with it and not worry about any of that. Other things I like specifically about it is that it is only 4.4 ounces. It's like 3 inches long and maybe 2 inches wide. So it's definitely able to be fit into your pocket. I literally have slid this into the pockets of my leggings before, throw it into bags whenever. And when I say I take this thing with me everywhere, I literally mean I take this camera with me everywhere because it is just so perfect. I have like a spur of creativity. I can just take it out and shoot something easily. And the size is also nice not only for traveling, but just for if I want to take a picture of something, it would be a little disruptive if I'd like pulled out my big DSLR. With this, it's nice because it is, I guess stealthy is the word I would use for it. It's just really easy to carry with you and to pick up and shoot. So I'll just do a close-up of what this camera looks like and some of the settings that I really think are useful. It's 8 megapixel. I'll go into this a little deeper later, but I actually shoot at a lower megapixel, 1 for storage and 2 because I like the graininess, just for the aesthetic. And then you power it on. So here's what it looks like. Mine was owned by my mom, and this came to market in 2008. So she's been through a lot. You have a picture setting, a video setting, which I've used a lot because I really like how the videos come out. Again, it has that like grainy aesthetic, which I really like. And then this is a preview mode. Another really nice thing is I take a lot of my photos vertically. So if you turn your camera like this, you can preview the images just like that. Specifically, setting-wise, some things that you can control if you do want to have a little more control like manual is ISO, but I just keep it on auto because it's just easier since I do just pick this up and shoot with it without really thinking too much about the settings. You can control the type of subject you're shooting. So you have normal, you have like more landscape, infinity, which is what I shoot with a lot. And then you have macro, so that's if you want to do a close-up of anything. You can control the flash, pretty basic. And then you can also control if you want to do continuous or single shots, and if you want to do a timer, you have control over that as well. So a lot of great features, and a lot of them are very easy to access. And then I did program this button right here to do exposure, because that is definitely one thing out of anything that I will look to control, just because, I mean, this camera overexposes some things. If I really want to make sure the image is nice, I will either turn that up or down. If you follow any photographers on Instagram, especially photographers that are a little bit younger, you'll know that the film aesthetic is very much making its way back. That's also why I picked up a film camera, just because I actually want to get like an authentic film look without just editing it myself. That's another thing that's really nice about this camera, and that is why I choose to shoot in less than 8 megapixels, because I do like that grainier look, and it reduces the steps that I have to take post-processing to get that grainier images. So let me show you some of the pictures that I took on this camera. So, like I said, I do choose to shoot vertically just because I do post a lot of things on Instagram, and it's a lot easier to post verticals than to post landscape, which makes me sad, but it is what it is. These are just some pictures that I fired off when I was watching my friend's dog, and like I felt inspired that day when I was walking him. So I took this picture and then obviously edited it a little bit more to give it like that greenish film look, because that's an aesthetic that I absolutely love right now. Then this one, like I said, this camera really overexposes, but that's good if you're looking to get that film look, because film is often overexposed in harsh sunlight. This is a picture of her dog. It gives you a pretty nice image, but still not clear enough that it can be tricked into making you think it's film if you edit it correctly post-production. Finally, I absolutely love the shot, and I take a lot of pictures like that. This picture is probably one of my favorite pictures. I just really like how you get the palm tree in the bottom half of the picture, and then you kind of get some cloud in the upper part, just so there's not dead space in the top. I just love that film look. And then, as you can see, it's a little bit overexposed, but it really makes that film vibe stand out. And the quality is pretty decent. I do edit these to look like film, like I've said a gazillion times. So if you kind of just keep it as it is and you have software to reduce the noise, you can really make these pictures look like they were taken by a professional DSLR camera. So to show you what I mean about the graininess that you might get in some of your images, if you look at this photo, like even right now without zooming in, you can see it's a little grainy, especially if you look in this top corner. And if you zoom in, you do see that there is some visible noise. I did not do any of this post-production. This is just how the image came out. But I did edit the colors, and I added a little bit of a green tint and gave it some warmth to make it look like film. I love this camera so much because it kind of adds to the look that I'm going for. But again, I do reduce my settings to shoot in, I think, 6 megapixels instead of the 8 that it comes with. So if you do shoot in 8 megapixels, I'm telling you, the images come out really clear and you can use them professionally. The only drawback I have about this camera is that when you're filming people or specific objects, like in my case pets, because I love photographing my dog, she's the black one, you do get a little bit of blur if the subject even slightly moves, because it's bad about autofocusing. So in this image, it's pretty fine because they're not really moving. Again, you get some noticeable noise, but it's nothing major, especially if you shoot in the full 8 megapixels. In this, it's a little bit more noticeable because Lacey moved a tad bit. She's visibly blurry. And this one, obviously blurry because he moved. And this one, obviously blurry because she moved. So that's one thing to take into consideration if you are specifically doing like portrait photography or headshots and you're looking for a camera that you want decent pictures. If you're doing like street photography, this probably isn't the camera for you. But as far as landscapes, like macro photography with flowers, you just want a creative camera that you can use without having to haul around like a huge camera, and you want something a little bit more professional than just your phone, I cannot recommend this camera enough. And on my latest trip out to Utah, I took this camera with me skiing, which is another reason that I absolutely love this camera. Here is a photo I took of this old mine I stumbled across when I skied a little bit out of bounds. But like, look how clear these came out. I mean, if you zoom in, there's some noise, but like if you just look at it like this, it's pretty clear. If you want to see more examples of things I've shot with this camera and how they turned out, you can go to my Instagram. It's just Aulisio, AULISIO.galleries. And I pretty much have exclusively been posting pictures that I took on this camera. A, because I post photos that have that film aesthetic. B, because I shoot with this camera so much. It's just where most of my photos have been taken. because I mean, if I'm just walking around and I feel inspired to shoot something, pull out this a lot faster than I'll pull out my phone. I don't know. I love the feeling of shooting with an actual point and shoot rather than just pulling out my phone and, you know, taking a picture and being done. With this, I feel like I can be a lot more creative and I'm a lot more honed in on what I'm doing when I'm shooting. It's perfect for travel photography and it works for landscapes. Maybe not street photography, but you could try that out. I personally don't really shoot street photography because I feel awkward like pointing my camera at someone and just shooting a picture of them, because personally I wouldn't want that to be done to me. It's good for macro photography, and it's just an all-around amazing camera if you are someone who wants to be more creative. And it's also beginner friendly because there's not a lot of settings that you have to control when you're shooting. If you shoot auto, the picture still comes out really well. I have put together a short little film that I took in Utah on my Instagram that I took with this camera because it has a very nostalgic film video look to it. So if you want to check that out, definitely head over to my Instagram. I don't know, it was like a really cute, fun video to make, and it was quick, and again, all shot on this camera. My inspiration from that video came from Genre Films. I'm absolutely obsessed with their content because they do make more nostalgic videos, and they are edited to look like how I want my videos to be edited. It was fun to make because I was shooting with an actual camera, but I was able to take it out in the snow, run around with it, and I didn't have a problem with any bulkiness or having to worry about settings or anything because it captured it just how I wanted it to. So those are all my reasons that the Canon PowerShot SD 1100 is my all-time favorite camera. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next week.